What's up, everybody? It's been a while. It's been a little minute since I did a podcast episode, but I'm here. I'm back, better than ever. See, today I want to talk about mental health because mental health is real. And I'm talking about no textbook, no scripted, just real life, what I've been through. And I hope this could help you for what you are going through. So today I want to talk about sometimes we need to take that mental health break. Sometimes we could just keep going, going, going. And you feel like you just tired, restless, things is not happening. You feel like God is not answering your prayers. You also feel like the weight of the world is continuously on your shoulder and you got situation after situation and it starts to affect your mental. So this is why I say it's critical and it's very important that you take a step back to reset, bring it to God, and know that you are human. See, sometimes we'll see that we are not making progress, and sometimes we feel like we're supposed to be further ahead in life. But when you're going through these things, you have to take it day by day. Don't try to look beyond your measures, look to your future. Stay present, stay in God's presence. So I want to share, my life experience. I do this podcast, I do daily inspirations, I do prayer every morning. Plus, I'm working. Then, on top of that, I haven't seen my kids in a while, and I continue to find things that keep me going. So I don't have to actually figure it out on my own. But sometimes when you're alone, you tend to let your mind race. Not only let your mind race, you begin to play out every scenario that you can think of on how to fix or how to keep going. But don't let none of that rob your peace. Because it's real, bro. Like, if you actually sit there and think about, man, when the last time I took some time for myself? When the last time I actually let God work in me? When the last time I actually showed up for myself, like doing things? Sometimes you don't have to always go out in public. Sometimes you just need to be at the house chilling, doing nothing, enjoying just peace and quiet. Because when you're going through these things, no one should feel like you drowning in your own thoughts. So this is why you need to take that time to yourself. Because when you're taking this time to yourself, it's going to help you. And don't think that getting counsel is a sign of weakness, a step. You taking the initiative because you're caring for your own well-being. And I want to remind you that God cares for all your anxieties and your depression. So focus on your mental health, focus on taking that break. So sometimes help is going to look like strength, and sometimes it's going to look like rest. So my advice to you, don't ignore your mental health. Let people help you. You don't have to keep everything bottled up inside. Sometimes you got to learn how to talk it out because while you're talking it out, God is working it out. So never harbor bad things in. They must come out because whatever is internal is going to come out external. So if you feeling a bad negative vibe, that negative vibe is going to end up coming out and then it's going to, happen in this world. And you don't want that to affect you in this world. We all trying to become the best version of ourselves. But sometimes life do get the best of us. But this is where your help comes from. Your help comes from God. So when you understand that you need God in everything, and it's a part of his plan to help you in your mental. See, you just can't just say, okay, I'm strong, I'm built to last. That's cool and all. But one time or plenty of times, you're going to feel like you want to crash. Not only just crash out, but you're going to feel like, man, I don't have no way out. Man, I'm tired. And it's life because as a mother, as a father, just as a human being, but for a mother, you deal with a lot. You provide, you got kids, you got to be a wife, you got to operate for a job. If you got a full-time job, then you got to be supportive of your man. And as a man, we already get beat up by society. We got a job, we got to protect, we got to serve, we got to do multiple things. So this is why I understand a lot of people are, suffering from their mental. But it's our job to, check up on our close friends, check up on our loved ones, even someone checking up on us, because sometimes we unaware of the things that we've been harboring or just holding on to trauma, and it plays with your mental. So the things that we are used to, it can be affecting your mental. It can be affecting how you can grow. So never overlook these things, because when you overlook certain things, this dealing with people too. When you overlook how they handle you, you just gonna think that's the new norm. That's how life's supposed to go. No, you got to protect your peace. You have to protect who comes into your circle. When you're doing all these things, I'm telling you, your life is going to be better. So learn how to put these practical steps into order and put them into practice, because it's going to help you. It helped me. So everything that I'm saying comes from my life experience. I had to take a mental break because I was having so much on my plate, dealing with my finances, dealing with, trying to find somewhere to live, to do all these things on your own, in your own comfort, and you feel like you don't have nobody. But I'm here to tell you, the enemy is a lie. You do have somebody. You have God to talk to. And God is going to give you people that you can trust with your deepest secrets. Not even your secrets, your thoughts, or what you've been going through. Because I know in this world, it's real life hard, because you don't know who gonna judge you. You don't gonna know who gonna talk about you and who gonna pray on your downfall. So you best be like you be like, I might as well go through this on my own, because you don't want to be laughed at. You don't want to be in shame. You don't want your problems to become somebody else's problems. And that's a lot of people. A lot of people like, I don't want to bother you because I see what you're going through. But if they love you like they say they do, they're going to care for your well being and know that we all go through things in life. So when you're going through these situations, man, for me, it was hard, you know, to, get away from certain people, to get away from certain things, is, robbing you out your peace, because it'll drain you. Certain things that we put our focus on, it will really drain you. It would make you operate out your comfort zone. It would actually rob you from, being peaceful, talking to someone peaceful. Any little thing that they say would disturb you or set you off or make you spiral out. And I did that before, going through multiple, you know, interaction with people, a relationship, certain things they would say would, trigger me. And I had to actually take the initiative to say, okay, maybe it's me. And when I start to really, you know, assess the situation or assess what was going or running through my mind, to actually say, okay, you need counseling. And I'm not scared to say it, because sometimes if you don't take care of your mental, it would damage you. You would damage other people that didn't even do you nothing wrong. You would bleed on people that has nothing but the best interest for you. Genuine people. And you can't get that back. Once you mess over somebody that's genuine, that's loyal, that want to be with you, man, you're gonna spend the rest of your life regretting that. And I couldn't live with that. So when I said, okay, you're gonna keep it real, you're gonna let people know up front what you got going on, you know, it's affecting me. Where I ain't gonna say it's affecting me, but I still think about, my kids getting older. Where what can I do? How they doing? See, all these things is starting to make you, feel drained, because you are constantly thinking about something that you have no control over. And that was for me. I'm just speaking for me. So when I got away from that and started actually putting my eyes and my focus back on God, He started to give me a different outcome. He started to give me a different outlook. He started to, pour into me, refilling me, and I started to feel whole again. Even though I still had that problem, it was no longer my problem. God say He's a God that's going to do what? He's going to work out anything that you feel like hasn't worked out. See, God is a God of, restoring, restoration. Anything that you feel like you lost, He's gonna replace it with what you need. So when I discovered why God had me in this tough season that I'm currently in is because He's working on me. He's building my character to be able to show my kids how to, love God, talk to God, believe in God, and show them what true love means. When you go through a lot of things in life, man, it'll break you down. See, my mental was really at a down point when I really lost my brother through a car crash, and I wasn't able to, really talk to nobody about it because I was going through a divorce myself. Where, you know, being out your own home, staying in a motel, and all I really had was the church people to really help me out, and they did a lot for me. They got me groceries, helped me with my room, paid for the room that week until I really got on my feet because I just started back working again. Because in the oil field, you get laid off and things happen, and then hurricane came, and it was so much at one time, and that turns somebody's whole world upside down when you go through so much. And that's why I really say a lot of people can't walk a mile in my shoes, and that's not to say it to be cocky, but that's to say like I've been through a lot, and we all go through a lot, but it's what you're gonna do with that story. So this is why I say you need to be with God. You have to trust God with your mental. He's protecting you not only physically, mentally, and spiritually. So don't never let somebody tell you that you're weak because you want to cry, that you feel like you need help, that you feel like you empty inside. Don't let nobody clown you because it could be you today, it could be them tomorrow. See, God could take what's at your doorstep and place it at their doorstep because God says vengeance is the Lord. So don't never be living in shame and guilt because that'll hurt you in so many ways. So on those days when you feel like your mental capacity is at its limit, take you a step back, breathe, change your scenery, go to God, be still, just listen for Him. Don't do no talking, just listen. This is why I say for me, it helped me to meditate, and not only just meditate, actually start to read, to open up your mind. This is why I'm telling you all this because it helped me. You know, breaking away from old habits, things that I used to do, discovering who I need to be. By I started reading different books that I would probably 5 years from back then I would even be interested in it because I was so caught up in just focus on worldly things, and it was just damaging my mental end. But when God get a hold of you, God is the author. Our God is the way. God restored and renewed my mindset, renewed my strength. He do that every day. So the grace renews every day. The mercy renews every day. So I'm just talking to y'all just like, hey, no scripted, no script, just real life venting to y'all to help y'all to see that you're not the only one that suffer. We all suffer in silence. So like I said, the hardest thing for me is not being a father. Well, I am a father, but actually being an active father because you don't know where your kids at, you don't know what they're doing, you don't even know how they feel about you. So that constantly run through my mind. But now I really have somebody to actually pour into me. And I thank God for that. God is going to direct and put people in your path, real talk. So when you think about that and really reflect on that, God is the man. God saved me. God was with me in everything that I went through. And I can think back and actually say, yeah, He never left me. So I really want to help someone today. So if you feel like you're not you're not at your best, you feel like your fate is not at its best, it's all about you have to refocus and reset. Don't take your eyes off of Jesus because He paid for your sins. Don't beat yourself up about things that you don't have. Sometimes, like I said, we'll lose a job, we'll lose a significant other, we'll lose ourselves trying to help somebody else. We're pouring into everybody else's cup, but when it comes around and goes around and you back feeling down, You looking for them same people that you was there for. I get it. I was like that too. I was pouring into a lot of people, but I stopped worrying about that. I started doing the things that God wanted me to do. So you'll never fall short if you really trust in God. You might fall short of His grace, but He'll never let you fall short or lack anything if you keep continuously going to Him. You're going to Him for Him to provide, for Him to protect, for Him to love. You'll never lack of none of those things. His unwavering love is there. You can count on Him. He's always there. Even at the night, when them long nights hit and you just in a dark room, you constantly saying, Lord, I'm alone. No, you're not alone. Tell that devil to get back. Tell the enemy to get back. Tell him I'm a child of God. Sometimes you got to speak authority over your life. Speak authority over that situation. Take authority over your mind because the enemy, he's going to seep hopelessness, doubt, fear, all that into your mind. And he's going to take over you if you allow him to. But I'm here to tell you, don't allow him to. Start filling your mind up with God's wisdom because his wisdom is there. Start filling your mind up with other things that is more like entertainment. Some of the things that we don't want to watch, it'd be the best thing for us to watch because it's creating something new inside of you. It's something that you discovered. See, we always want to focus on, the music, comedy, movies, but sometimes we have to set that aside and actually watch things that's gonna, elevate us, you know, feed our brain. I'm always doing something to feed my brain, but you always got to remember, you got to take this time for yourself. Breaks are good, but don't stay in a break. You can pause, but never stop. Just because you feel like, oh, this is good. I can get used to this. No, don't get used to it. But know it's there when you feel like you're running empty, you're running low, you're out of gas. You can go back to God so He can replenish you, that He can replenish your energy, that He can strengthen you for the next thing that may occur ahead. Like we all go through trials and tribulations, but God is the bridge over your troubled waters. He's not only the bridge over your troubled waters, He's there when you feel like you don't have nobody else to run to. So this is why I made this video, talking about life experience, what I've been through, what I continues to go through, but I choose to bring it to God. I don't choose to deal with it alone. Because when you're dealing with it alone, that's when you actually feel like you're alone. You feel like he's not present. You feel like he's silent. You feel like he don't really want to deal with you. And that's why I say, if you scared, let this video, not only this video, let this podcast tell you, hey, if he can do it, and if I know God can do it for him, he could do it for me. Hey, you the same, he made you the same way he made me. So take heed to your mental health. I want to give you some points where you can see when your mental is at a downturn. See, the first one is the silent battle. Many of us feel like we are strong and we feel like we can't talk about nothing and we won't talk about nothing because our pride, our ego, you don't want people to know that you're suffering and then you're going through something. So let me ask you this. How many times you smile without breaking inside that you know you want to break down, but you couldn't because you don't want nobody to see you in that way? Number two, life pressures and triggers. Like I was saying, bills stacking up, you know, you feel like you can't get ahead, relationship stress, not only just stress, how much you're not getting enough sleep, you sleepless, you know, you don't have no appetite, you constantly worry. You worrying about everything. But let me tell you this, stress is invisible, but it does so much damage. I'm talking about damage is real. Number three, faith and mental. Huh. This is one of my favorites that I wrote down. If you love God, you won't struggle mentally. Think about that. If you actually love God, you ain't gonna struggle mentally because you know that He's taking care of you. Anything that you bring to Him, He's gonna give you peace. He's gonna give you clarity. He's gonna calm the storm. He's gonna deliver you from your overthinking if you really love God. So the truth is, even people that's in the Bible, like Elijah, He went through struggles and he wanted to die. And that comes from, when you have time, it comes from 1 Kings, verse 19. But God doesn't shame your struggles. He meets you in them. He always meets us in our struggles, wherever we at. So number 4, this is for the men out there. Men, don't let this stigma make you feel stagnant because about you open up. See, we always have this phrase, be a man. Men don't cry. That was instilled in us as a child. Hey, boy, get up and stop all that crying. Be a boy. So that carries and affect us in our adult life. So we don't know how to open up, and certain women will damage your ego. They'll come after your manhood and tell you, oh, stop acting like a simp. Oh, stop acting like you know what. But that silence is poison. It's very poison, brothers. So listen to me. Don't let that break you down because you are a man. You're doing the best that you can, and God is going to handle the rest. Number 5, that's one of my favorites also. This would help me in my healing journey. You know, therapy, trusting friends, building my prayer life, start journaling, walks, exercise, sunlight, changing my diet, learning how to rest. Some people, like my cousin, he'll probably call me. He like, boy, you always in the bed. I be having to cover up to my neck because any moment I know I need to rest, I'm going to rest. And when I feel like I'm at my capacity, I don't shut down, but I just take that moment to refocus and reset. So my energy, I'm going to protect it. So if I feel like I'm going to argue with you or you want to argue and go back and forth, I'm going to just tell you, I don't want to talk about that. That's not a form of shutting down. That's creating a boundary. If you can't respect that, you can't respect it. And number 6, look, I remember a time when I actually felt drained and I feel like I couldn't actually do anything. I ain't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to eat. And I tell my cousin all the time, and he laugh about it when I said, man, when you're going through a mental, health issue or just feel like you're going through something so horrible, I told him, man, I ain't want to bath. So I was up in here smelling like old Billy Goat. He fell out laughing. But I can laugh at it now, but in that moment, I couldn't laugh at it. I couldn't even recognize who I was because I was going through the most difficult time in my life. And that's why I can open up about a lot of things. So I want to encourage somebody today. You are not weak for struggling. You're human. We all human. You're stronger than whatever you think you're up against because it's only a thought. Not every thought needs to be processed, and not every thought needs to be handled. Give it to God. If it too bad, cast it to Him. You really have to cast it to Him. Help is not weak. Help is not lack of faith. It's a step towards you healing. So I want to end this, you know, podcast with a short prayer. Heavenly Father, for the person that stopped and watched my podcast, first of all, Lord, I'd like to thank you for directing them in my path. And Lord, I just want to pray over their mental, Lord, that you continue to cover them, protect them from all the overthinking, the depression, the anxiety, the lies from sin from the enemy. Lord, I ask that you return it to sender. Lord, that you continue to just wrap them in your loving arm and you give them the peace that their mind really need. Lord, you know when life takes a turn, Lord, you are working and you continue to move on their behalf. So, Lord, I'm asking that you continue to move on their behalf. Lord, that mental be stable and made perfect. Father, I just ask that you continue to just work on their mind. Lord, that you know that they could keep going, Father, and know that they should not give in. And Lord, that you will continue to help them in everything. And Lord, I'm just asking them right now that you protect their mental. In Jesus' name, amen. So I appreciate y'all for watching this podcast. Like I say, it's been a little minute, and my apologies for keeping y'all for waiting so long. Like I say, we all go through life. We all go through certain situations, but we know we need God. So rely on God. Hey, I appreciate y'all. Subscribe, like, share to somebody that needs to hear this. There's somebody out there that needs to hear this. Y'all have a blessed one.